Yes.
Amazing. So I'm starting to share my presentation. Do you see it? Everything well?
Yep.
Okay. So hello all, and welcome on our, I can say it's intro session where I can describe what is our course about and what is it, what we have, and what can you expect from it. And first of all, sorry for my English. I'm improving it as I can, but I think I need more practice, so it's one point why I'm here. Uh, so, uh, what we have today, uh, it's some kind of agenda. What we have during the next 90 minutes. First of all, I will describe briefly why we have this course and why it's still actual in Age of AI. I will describe myself, who am I, and why I'm here. After that, I will describe the course in general, what we have, what is the structure, and why it will be useful for you. Um, and after that, we will discuss your questions. Maybe you will have them, and I will try to answer on everything. And finally, we will have a mini workshop. We will discuss how Spring helps us and why we need to learn it. Let's move forward. So first stuff, why Spring in 2026 is still actual and how to survive in age of AI. Um, I will describe it later, but in general, I'm mentoring a lot of different people from different countries. And a lot of people have the problem that they afraid AI, and it's very popular opinion that AI can replace everybody, replace all engineers and so on. It's not true, es especially now. I don't know what will happen in the future, but in the nearest future, we are protected because AI is just a helper. He can write some routing code, some boilerplate code, but he can't make reliable architecture. He can't fix performance a lot. And I can say it, I'm 100% sure. Why? Because I'm using AI now in my main work every day, the latest models, and I use Float, I use Codex, and all of them shows that when you have problems with performance, when you have architectural problems and so on, uh, developers can help with that. They can invent new algorithm or take a little bit another approach, but AI can't show such results. So it means that AI is a good helper for us. He can write routing code, he can do some simple work, but he can't design system. He can't understand what's going under the hood. He can't predict what will wrong with your performance on based on current state with project and so on. So it's very important that now developers are switching from just code writers to architects, and it means that you as developer you need to understand how it works under the hood, where the bottlenecks, and you need to help AI to fix everything, and uh, you will do exactly this role. So you are architect and you manage AI. And it's very important to understand that now anyway you are protected because you can do work which AI can't. And it's very important to understand. Let's move forward. A little bit about me, who am I, and what I have in my experience. So in general, I have more than 10 years of experience. in different areas. I mean, development areas, maybe different businesses. First years I started from big product, which was written by pure Java without any frameworks, and everything was uh, self-written. So it means that we use just pure Java and nothing else, and it means that we manage the transactions manually, and you always needed to care about it, and so on. It was interesting experience. After that, I switched to outsource projects which use Spring and exact Spring because I wanted to cover this area. And last one project before it was event-driven project with Kafka Streams, and it was interesting challenge because it was high load project. We processed about 2 trillion messages per week, and it's not so exciteful, but you need to understand that it's 2 million messages per second, and it means that I needed to write code which could support this volume. It's not super big, but I think anyway it's not bad. And now I'm in the project where the last half a year I'm fixing performance exactly because people didn't care about performance, didn't care about stability of the application, and now I spent a lot of time to fix a lot of different problems, and I needed to go very deep inside Spring to fix plenty of things, not in the Spring, but on our project, our configuration, because we have custom a lot. And it was also interesting stuff. And it's very briefly my 10 years experience, almost 11. But not only I'm not only engineer, I also can say that I'm a mentor. Why? Because from my second year of my career, I'm teaching something. I started from learning center of the company I was working for, and I was junior mentor, I can say. After that, I grew to lead mentor who managed whole direction of mentoring. And after that, I was working in a company, Fox Minded. It's very popular company in Ukraine. uh, it's mentoring course where you don't have theory, you just have tasks, and students resolve the tasks and they gather the knowledge. Also, I was a lecturer in the Java Rush University, uh, and I had two courses, and overall, it was more than 400 hours of live lectures. It was also interesting experience. And after that, I switched to Mentor Cruise platform. I was mentoring, and now I still do it. Guys from different countries, from different positions, senior, middle, senior, and lead staff because I have big experience, I think, and I can always share some knowledge and help people. It's not full list. Also, I was working in your code review, for example. It was courses for helping people to prepare for interviews and so on. So, as you see, I have some experience. I can't say that it's the biggest one or it's the best one, but anyway, it's my own experience and I have something to share. Um, Now, everything about structure. And one note, Dima, if there are some messages in the chat, could you notify me, please? Because I don't see notifications.
Okay, okay.
So, about our course, what we are building at and what we are proposing to you. So, it's a 12 weeks course, and 8 of them will be about theory, and 4 of them will be about pure project. But um, if we go to details, how it will work, first 8 weeks it will be theory, but not only. We will start some project, and you will build fundamental stuff for your project. And during our first weeks, we will gather some knowledge, we will find some tips, some interesting stuff, and so on. And we will try to use it in real life, in real project, and you will have practice. My vision that, okay, you can watch a lot of lectures, but practice it's super important to have, and only when you touch it by your hands, you write some code, you compile it, you face some issues. Only in this case you will uh, build your new neuron uh, connections, and you will store this information in your brain. And it means that first weeks we will combine theory and practice, and last weeks will be about practice, but not only. We will have lectures, we will have mock interviews, and so on. Also, a very important thing that in general, in the internet, you can find a lot of theory and so on. So it means that I will try to give you the most important things, mostly from my experience, what I faced and what you need to be prepared on. Uh, and also, I will share some links, useful guides, and so on, where you can find additional uh, information and so on. Because you should understand that 12 weeks, it sounds a lot of time, but actually no, because some of you have full-time work and so on, and it's not big amount of time. So my main goal to give you the most crucial information, the most important one, and give you a direction to to feel your knowledge more. It's about structure of our course in general and what we will learn from it. So we will cover some fundamentals because we expect that we have people which start Spring from scratch. So we will cover fundamentals, we will cover REST, database, and so on. We will cover Spring Core, Spring Boot, and we will touch different models from Spring, and we'll understand how they are connected and related. After that, we will show how to work with security, because security is the most crucial part of any application, and it's one big gap of AI, because AI doesn't care about security at all, and if you don't ask him about it, he will ignore it. So you need to understand how security works, what are the best practices, and how to test everything, how to write integration tests, how and so on. Of course, there is no one correct way, and we will discuss how we can do it, but uh, on your project where you will be, uh, approach can be fully different. It's very important to remember that in engineering at all, there is no one rule or one way. We always have better solutions and worse solutions. And I will try to cover most of them, which I know, especially because I think there are infinity ways how to implement the same thing. But I will try to take from my experience. And finally, we will discuss how to deploy it to the cloud. And it means that we need to cover Docker. We can cover caching because performance is always crucial part. And in general, performance where we can have issues and how we can resolve them, and what you should always remember about when you write code or you ask Claude or Codex to write code instead of you. Um, so Yeah, also we will cover observability because every project, I think, must have observability. We will touch a little bit concurrency. We will touch profiling because you need to understand how your application works and what's going on under the hood, where you have bottlenecks and so on. And we will discuss different architectural decisions during your project implementation. Um, Next one. So my main goal for you, not just understand that we have some annotations in our Spring, we have some issues and so on. My main goal for you to understand how Spring works, how to build reliable and systems with good performance. And you should understand how it works under the hood in general. And my vision that if you can write your own Spring, it means that you understand how it works and you can use 100% of this one. Of course, we will not write our own Spring because it's not needed and it's super time consuming, but you need to be able to do it. Also, we will have a team project, so it means that you will not work alone, and you will work in small teams. We will see how many people we have, and we will split them by groups, and you will work as a team, and we will mentor you. So it means that you will have experience of collaboration, and it's also important. And you will be able not just to understand what is Spring, you will be able to deliver working solution to the cloud. Maybe you have some ideas for your own projects, pet projects, and so on, and you will be able to deploy it and show it to the people. Um, yeah, let's move forward. Very important information that it's this course is not for everybody. And we need to set up some borders who we are waiting for. First of all, this course is not for Java beginners. Uh, we expect that you know Java, and especially you know what is Java proxy, how it works, what is Java reflection, and so on. So at least for this one, of course, if you don't know, for example, now what is Java reflection, uh, it's advanced topic, and I think you can cover it. But in general, you should be able to compile application and know at least Java, what is it, and how it works. So because we will focus on Spring only. Next one. This course is not for people who don't have time because we will have very intensive course and I have a lot of knowledge I want to share with you. And it will require at least, my vision that it will require at least 20 hours per week to cover everything. And only in this case, you will be able to say, okay, I received some knowledge, I understand how it works, and I have good vision about it. If you will spend less time, I'm not sure that your course will be useful for you. As I said, you also will be needed to cover a lot of practice, and you will need to collaborate with people and so on and so on. For better experience, I can say that you need at least 20 hours per week. Of course, one week you can have a little bit less, another week you can have more, no problem. I am saying in average for this course. And also, this course is not about people who chasing a magic pill. So uh, sometimes I really wanted to share my brain with somebody to give all knowledge by one click and so on, but it's not possible. So it means that you need to make effort, and in our case, you need to make a lot of effort, and you will be honored by knowledge I have, and it will be useful for you, but only in this way. It's not working in this case when you do nothing, but you want to receive everything. Uh, in software engineering, it doesn't work. So as I said, only practice makes perfect. Let's move forward. Um, so and I can say summarizing what we will cover. So we will cover Spring and hidden magic. We will try to build production environment setup, and we will understand what are the bottlenecks and so on. We will touch performance and hidden traps. We will cover security, databases, and especially migrations, because for production, you can't delete database and create new structure. You always need to do it very smoothly without losing data and so on. And you will be able to understand how to test everything, how to cover it, because in era of AI, it's very important to cover everything by test, because most of code will be written by AI now, and you should not break something else. And as a big plus, I think I will try to give you a wide spectrum of questions which are met on interviews. So my program, I can say, or this course, will be built based on interview questions too. So, and I will, during sessions and lectures, I will highlight what can you be asked for and what is about. So it means that after this course, you should be able to pass at least technical interview with Spring very good. And finally, we have mock interview with me, uh, and it's also my experience shows that students are happy because we discuss some different things, uh, and I can highlight some stuff which is useful for them, and they don't understand why they were rejected. Um, Next one. So, as I mentioned, we have theory, and I covered what we will cover by theory, and again, a little repetition, but for understanding, so we will build a real system as a team, and it's super important that it's not, as your alone pet project. No, you will build it in the team, and it means that you will have tasks in Jira, and some scope of work will be split by all of you, and you will push your code on GitHub. This code will be reviewed by your teammates. It will be reviewed by me. We will be build CI/CD pipelines to make all necessary validations, code formatting, and so on. And also, we will deploy it to the cloud. And as I said, we will have some requirements that system should be should have full tolerance. It should be REST API should be designed properly, and we should cover the idempotency at least, and so on and so on. So not something very simple. Uh, we will have teams, and it means that when you are a team, you can build much bigger application and much complex than when you are alone. Next one. Um, what else you will get? And it's my vision, so how it should be. I will share my knowledge about AI because I spent a lot of time for configuration and so on and so on. and I will share how I configure all MCPs, how I configure Claude codecs, how I make controversial review between them, and so on. Also, we will have mock interviews with me. I will make code review. Also, during our uh, course, we will have question and answer session. So this meeting will be only about your questions, and we will discuss your findings, your some gaps, and so on. And also, we will try to propose you a warm community where you can ask any question and you should receive support. Because my vision that the wrong question is only that one which is not asked. And it means that we need to ask all questions we have, and not only. So if you have some issues, you don't understand something, we always will be able to help you, and we will not leave you alone. And finally, so what will you receive? As I said, you will have understanding of Spring, you will have project, which is team build, and you will be prepared for interviews. And of course, it's, as I said previously, it's not magic pill. You will need to make a lot of effort, and if you are success on it, so you will receive a lot. Um, a little bit about fears, because as I said previously, I have different students, and they have some fears. And first fear of maybe any beginner developer who starts to learn Spring, that Spring is very scary. It's very big. There are a lot of models. There are a lot of documentation to read to understand it, and so on. Uh, I can say that Spring is built by people. It's very important to understand. So, built by humans. Now we live in this time when it's still is building by people, and it's very logical. It's very clean and clear, I can say. So there is no magic at all, and I really like software engineering for this. That there is no magic. Everything is done by tools which everybody can use, and for this reason, we have this course to go inside Spring, especially, and understand how it works, what is it exactly, and start to use it. So it should not be a problem at all because you're not first and you're not last who has this problem. Uh, Next fear that I will get stuck alone, and as I said multiple times today, that you will have mentor, me, you will have your small team, and you will have warm community. So we will try to support you as much as we can. And third fear that the format won't fit to me. Uh, it's not a problem at all because all of us, we are all human. And sometimes it's normally that you understand that you don't have time, or I don't know, I don't match you because I'm not God, and I can't cover needs from everybody. So no problems. Uh, we have refund, and you will contact the manager and say, sorry, this course is not for me, and money will be returned. You can discuss it with manager, but in general, we provide first 2 weeks. So first 2 weeks, it's enough time to understand is this course good for you or not, and you are able to make effort. And for now, that's all. I saw that it should be much longer, but we spent only 20 minutes. I don't know if you need 5 minute break. Um, I think no. So let's move to question and answer uh, stage, I can say. And if you have any questions for now, you can ask them. Dima, do we have something?
I think no.
I think, guys, you can unmute yourself and ask, so you can uh, raise your hand, for example, because Zoom provides this possibility. I see that there is one message in the chat, no?
Yes, two messages.
I can see them because I don't know, Zoom is
Okay.
stuck for me, and on my main desktop I don't see mouse and I can't click on
Okay.
buttons. So I will try. So I need to disable the presentation and I need to open the chat. Okay. Hey, can I ask how much does the course cost? Um, Details will be provided by manager because final cost depends on amount of people we have in our uh, cohort, I can say. So after this meeting, manager will contact to you and you will be able to discuss everything related to this. I'm I'm here only from technical side and I can help with course structure and everything related to this one. If no more questions, I have some prepared questions because it's always also popular questions, I can say. And for example, how much time per week do I really need? As I said, minimum to 20 hours because you need to visit lectures, you need to participate into the practice project, uh, and you need to learn additional materials, additional stuff.
Sorry, Andy.
Yeah.
We have question in the chat.
Uh, we have some Discord channel for communication. Dima, it's more about you. I think yes, we will have Discord channel, and I don't know if it will be Discord or Slack. Dima, you can.
It will be Discord, and we will send you a link.
Mhm. And all discussions will be there. What about certificate, Dima? Do we provide certificate?
No, we provide only experience and team projects.
Yeah, you can add it to your GitHub, and it will be seen inside your GitHub activity. You also will be able to mention it on CV if you are beginner, for example, and it's also good. Will there be classes online every day? How many hours will the classes last daily, if there is? We will have 2 lectures per week, and it will be about 1-2 hours, depends on topic. And yeah, so twice per week. It will be some kind of lectures, and as I mentioned, it will be session uh, question and answers. So some of them will be about mm, just your questions. I will try to answer. Do you know the period, morning or evening sessions? There will be evening sessions. So something about like now, so at 6 p.m. by Poland or Slovakia time. Of course, uh, we oriented to the people who has full-time work and we understand this stuff. So we will ask all participants what is the most what is the better time for them. It will be or 6 or 7 p.m. European time. Where I can find record for WoW meeting, you mean this meeting or you ask about live sessions? Is this one? Dima, will you send the link to the record?
Yes, yes, I will
Yeah,
send.
Dima will send you a link. And also for live sessions, we also have recording, and it means that if you miss by some reasons, you will be able to watch it offline where it's more comfortable for you. It's not a problem at all. Of course, my experience shows, especially from Java Rush University, that the best if you can present on the lecture because you can ask questions and it's the most how to say it, the most expensive stuff that you can ask questions. I can answer on them, and you don't need to wait next live session to ask them, or you can ask in the chat. Uh, also, it's possible, but the best questions are from online where you don't understand something or uh, you want to some clarifications. Uh, yeah. Also, I have another questions. How is this different from just doing Spring tutorials on YouTube? I think it's very simple question that here we will cover big project in the team, and also I can share some tips from my experience. For this reason, here should be more interesting. How fast do mentors respond in chat? So in general, I always try to answer in the evenings, but of course, I can try if I have some time during my main work and so on, I can answer during the day. So, but anyway, waiting time not more than 24 hours. I mean, then I don't know if you ask it at 10 p.m. I will ask you maximum next day evening, but sometimes I always check all questions during morning, so no fixed time, but I will try to answer as faster as I can. But of course, I have main work and so on, and I can't be available 24 hours. And what if I fall behind the rest of the group? It's bad situation, but I hope our warm community will help you. And also, our tasks are not so complex, so it means that I hope you will be able to resolve all of them. The most important to be aligned with the team you have, work on the project, and don't disappear, be in touch and warn team about some problems and so on. And as I said, we will keep our warm community and we will support you. Do we have any additional questions? Are we gonna learn only Spring framework or any other also? No, we will. Yes, we will learn only Spring. Why? Because frameworks like Micronaut, Quarkus, they are the same, I can say. And for example, in that project where we had Kafka, we used Micronaut. And for you, when you know how Spring works, Micronaut, you need to spend maximum 1 day to learn differences, and that's all. And you can start to work with that. So for me, it was the experience that I switched from Spring projects to Micronaut, and I didn't see any difference at all. Yes, some annotations are different, some configurations are different, but when you know how it works, where you should look or looking for, you just do it, and that's all. So for this reason, it doesn't make sense to learn now other frameworks because we will learn just another annotations and configuration, and that's all. So I can say that Spring may be the most complex framework because Spring was the first one, and Spring has plenty of hacks and tricks inside. Uh, and other frameworks like Micronaut or Quarkus, they learned by mistakes of Spring, and they did their frameworks much more better. So for this reason, we can learn Spring, and you will be able to learn Micronaut Quarkus by default very fast. And it's also very important that you never know which framework you will use on your job, because for me, when I was interviewing on my previous job with Kafka, uh, I didn't know that we will use Micronaut. And nobody warns me because I saw that it's Spring by default. No, it's Micronaut. Okay, I spent 1 day to learn it, and that's all. Okay, if no questions, uh, I think we can go forward to my small lecture about why we have Spring. And after that, there will be a question and answer session again. So now you can think about your questions, and we will finish. Now I see a question, is Spring more complex than Ravel or Nest? I can't say because I don't know them. As I remember, Laravel is PHP and Nest is JS, but I have never uh, worked with them, uh, so I can't compare. Okay, let's move forward. So maybe I can leave meeting chat here. Uh, yes, let's move forward. So what I wanted to show to you, I wanted to show why Spring in general, because all of us can write Java code, and we can build systems by plain Java without any frameworks. And I can agree with you because if you have framework, it means that you are locked to use exactly this framework, and you need to agree with all limitations we have, and so on. You asked about different frameworks, and we should understand why we have not Spring only. Because Spring covers and resolves one set of problems, but Micronaut resolves a little bit other, and Quarkus also different set. For this reason, we don't have only one framework which resolves everything. No, we have multiple of them. Um, And as I said, each of them has their own limitations always. And when we use framework, we need to agree with them. Um, But framework give us a lot of advantages, and for this reason, we agree with all limitations and we use frameworks. Of course, there are some companies which don't use frameworks at all. One, for example, is Revolut. They write their own frameworks and libraries and so on, and it's also okay. But we always need to understand that if we don't use framework, we should pay for development of some core thing. And for most of companies, it's not okay because, for example, we have small business, and this small business needs small application, and you don't need to create why you should create a lot of stuff from the beginning. You need to create server, you need to create each endpoint, you need to create configuration, solver, reader, and so on. If you can use just Spring, which provides you a lot from out of box, and you don't need to uh, you don't need to invent something new, or you don't need to write some boilerplate code. Um, I will show you example. So, for example, I will show you example of application. It will be thin application. It will be weather app, where people can uh, look on current weather. He can receive weather forecast for 3 days, and also he can receive some analysis of future weather, and user can be prepared. Business logic here is not important for us. Will be more important that first application will be written by pure Java without Spring, without any additional stuff. And of course, that application will be poor and it will contain a lot of anti-patterns. And I don't say that if you don't use Spring, all of your applications will look like as this one. No, but when we have collaborative development, especially when we have big teams and we have multiple teams, the most interesting part here is that each team lead has their own vision, how it should be, how it should work, what are best practices, and so on. As I said, software engineering doesn't have one correct way. Everybody can be right, and we always have only better or worse solution. We don't have perfect solution. We always need to estimate our risks, our requirements, and so on. And in this situation, we can have from different teams, we can receive different anti-patterns, different issues, different problems, and so on. And finally, big application always will contain a lot of issues. And Spring will not resolve them all, but Spring helps to write less amount of code, and it when you write less amount of code, you make less bugs. It's very logical, and it's very clear. So, as I said, we will have weather app, which is written by two versions, without Spring and with Spring. So I will start from no Spring application. I have some additional checklist for me because uh, I don't want to remember everything. So I have some agenda for me, what we need to cover. So we have application, and here, as you see, we run our application by creating instance. And here we see again, we create object and run console UI. Inside this console UI, we inject some weather service, and from the name, we can understand that this service is responsible for some weather information gathering. We also have application config, so it means that this class contains some information about application configuration. Here we have some extreme heat threshold, for example, for temperature. We have base URL where we should take this uh, weather forecast and so on. And it's data object, and it means that we always can set some additional information or change this information. So it's some kind of configuration. Uh, and also we have scanner, so which will read input from user. And we run this application and show current weather. Let's check what's going on. So here we have show current weather, and we call weather service print weather current weather. And here we receive this forecast. Forecast checks cache. If information is not in the cache, so we fetch this forecast by making HTTP request to the service, external service, and here you can see that we have weather API client, and here again we have application config, and so on and so on. So we fetch some information about forecast, and we show this information inside weather service. We validate alerts, and so on. So it's some business logic. As I said, business logic now is not important for us. The most important for us, it's a structure of this project. Because here we have a big problem. In this, for example, weather service, we inject all dependent classes and especially application config. And here, if you search uh, by this config, you will be able to see that we have multiple initiation of this config. And it's not good in general. Why? Because each time we create new object, and here I have example of bug we can produce using this approach. For example, we have console UI, and here we are able to change city, for example, because as you saw here in application config, default city is London, and I want, for example, Warsaw or I don't know, Vienna. So I can change the city, and here I enter the name uh, somehow, and here you see. So if user enters some information, we set this city to the configuration, and we expect that weather service will take this updated config, and next time when we ask about current forecast, we will fetch forecast for update for city we asked, but it will not work. Why? Because here we update object from class console UI, and weather service has their own application config. And in this situation, we have a problem. Uh, if you change something in console UI, our service will not see these changes, and it will return information about London again. And it's very possible bug, and it's one way of where what is our bottleneck. The same for changing units. Here we can change from Celsius to Fahrenheit or to Kelvin or vice versa. And here we have the same issue. We update not correct configuration. It's one small example. Of course, it's a very small project, and we can create a lot of bugs when we don't use expected instance of class or vice versa. We can use the same instance, and it can be a problem. So, for example, we receive some forecast, and I don't know, in some weather service, we have adjustment, of received information, and it also can be problem if we use the same class. We can change value directly, and if we use multi-threading environment, other thread can read wrong data. So for this reason, we have a lot of issues if we do something like that. Also, this code is not testable at all, so you can't cover this code by test. Of course, you can say, yes, I can use reflection, I can put here mocks, for example, inject them using reflection and so on, but we should understand that it's very bad practice and your test should not be complex. Test should be pretty easy and pretty simple. When you make any creation of entity inside the class, it means that this class become untestable, and it's a super huge problem. And we can fix that. So here I can create constructor. Of course, I need to remove this one and move it to constructor. And in this case, we move to dependency injection approach. And it will be another problem for you. You will need to manage all dependencies. So in the case where you create the service, especially here, you will be you will need to provide all necessary classes which are required by uh, weather service. And one day your constructor will be huge because you will require 15 and more classes to inject, and it's not good. Um, what else? Here we also see the problem. It's generic problem, I can say, but here we see that business logic is intersected with uh, input-output logic. And in this case, if you need to replace system input output to, I don't know, REST, for example, you will need to rewrite old code. And it's, I can say it's architectural issue, but you should care about it too. And you need to take your intention not to repeat such kind of issues. Um, Also, interesting stuff that our uh, configuration is hard-coded, and if I want to create some flexible configuration, for example, I want to create some file where we will store this information, I need to add new library, I need to write code which will read properties, will map them to this class, and so on. Of course, we can do it, but why I should spend my time for doing that? My time is pretty uh, expensive. If I can receive everything out of box, we say about Spring, and everything will work well, and it will be tested a lot by people and other companies, and I will be sure that, for example, configuration parsing works super fine. And as I said, so it's not easy to manage all these dependencies. You need to create them somewhere. You need to build order of them because some of them can require another services, and we can have this chain of calls, and you always need to manage them and so on. And Spring resolves this problem. Spring does it instead of us. Uh, Next lecture will be about how it does it, but very briefly, uh, Spring manages all that objects and he scans all classes uh, which has dependencies, and he builds inside graph how it works, how it should be initiated. So, for example, application config is don't have any additional dependency, and it means that he can be created first. After that, we can create, I don't know, weather service, but actually no, because weather service, for example, requires weather API client. This one requires HTTP client, and here we see that HTTP client requires nothing, so it can be created first when application config is created. So you see graph. Uh, we create application config. After that, we create HTTP client. When HTTP client is built, for example, we need to build parser. When parser is built, he requires validator. Okay, I hope you understand the idea that we need to build a graph of dependencies, and after that, go through this graph and create instance of each object. And after that, we have container inside Spring where he stores all initiated objects, and when they are needed, he provides them. They are already built, they are already configured, so you just use them at all. And the most important stuff that you don't care about it. You only say that Spring, you need to manage weather API client, and you need to inject HTTP client, weather data parser, and application config. And I don't care how you build them, so just do it, and I will use it. So for this reason, Spring is much more better. And let's move to code from Spring and how it looks like on Spring. The same application config, and here we have one class which is described. I don't know why here is this formatting, why my it's my own idea and it has a very strange formatting. So here uh, we say to the Spring that this class should be manageable by you, by annotation component, and Spring takes this class. He solves he sees that its configuration class while recording this start. Okay, Dima, is everything fine?
Yes, it's restart. I don't know why.
Okay. Um, so, sorry for that. So, Spring understands that its configuration by this annotation, and it goes to application properties class and takes all values there. So, out of box, you have mechanism which parses the files, configurations, create the application config class object, and it will inject it everywhere where we need it. Let's check, I don't know, HTTP client. Here we mark it as component, and our Spring will read this class, will understand that this class requires application config, HTTP client, and he will inject it. Here we can see that this class requires application config only, and the client will be initiated here based on the configuration. So in this situation, we see that Spring can build this class without any problems when it's done. And it also will be manageable. We will discuss scope of beans that by default they are created as singleton, and this client will be in single instance, and it will be reusable in all places where it is needed. Here it's needed only in one place, but for example, application config is needed in different places. And for each of them, we will use the same class, the same configuration. And it's very easy to change this one. and use as you want. Um, so I showed you configuration. Now I want to show you change cities that now it will work well because configuration is singleton, and it means that we have only one instance of configuration, one place of it will be source of truth. So when you change city inside this configuration, HTTP client, for example, will take it by default because he uses the same instance, the same object, and he will take updated value. So by default, we resolved one bug we had previously. Um, a good side that Spring manages all classes which are marked by component or their aliases, and it means that you don't care about object creation, how it should be created, where to call new, and so on and so on. Everything will be done by Spring. Also, Spring Framework provides very good testability abilities, test abilities, because of everything is injectable and it uses a dependency injection pattern. So it means that all dependencies must be injected by constructor or by a setter. It means that we can use the same class in the tests and we can provide our mocks and test that business logic inside. HTTP client is not good idea. Let's check weather analyzer. So here we have converter, validator, and we can put our mocks here and we can validate that this logic is correct. And we don't need to care to create proper temperature converter, proper weather data validator, and so on. We can mock them. Also, Spring provides their own test framework, which gives us possibility to run Spring application if we talk about web, for example, where everything is configured and mocks are provided by default. So you don't need to manage this one too. Everything is available from out of box. Of course, we will discuss everything very detailed on each step. Um, And also here, what we have that just fixed architectural issues that we have classes which are responsible for business logic, and we have class which is we don't mix this logic. So if I want to switch from console application to web application, I don't need to rewrite code. I will need to rewrite communication layer only from console to web, and it will be enough. Uh, and as I said, configuration is easy to be managed because now you just mark annotation configuration class by annotation, and the Spring will provide everything we need instead of us. And it's also uh, easy and out of box, and amount of bugs will be reduced because you don't need to invent it from scratch. It's a small example what we receive when we use Spring. Also here you can see that we don't initiate classes. We use um, annotation and everything is done by Spring, so we don't care about it at all. But under the hood, there is no magic, only reflection API and proxy API, where Spring creates objects using reflection, called directly constructors, and so on and so on. And we will discuss it and how it works exactly. Um, Yeah, so I discussed everything I wanted. So here on this slide, we have some checks that configuration is easier because it's one class, one object, and it's injected everywhere. Uh, our changing city and units works well because we have one source of truth. Uh, Dependencies injected via constructor only, and you don't need to create a new object. Everything will be done by Spring. Testing is possible and it's easy to do. We fixed architectural stuff. So as I said, so our course not only about just pure Spring, but also my experience, the famous problems, and I will highlight it too. And the configuration is pretty easy when we use Spring. Uh, yeah, that's all from my side. Um, Now it's your time for last questions. What we have. Sorry, I need to disable to open chat. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Any new questions? I don't see them. Maybe you have. Maybe you want to ask by voice. It's also not a problem. When will the course start? It's about 1 month, maybe sooner. Manager will say you exactly. So I don't see new questions. I think anyway you can contact to manager, and if you have any technical stuff, any additional questions, I don't know, after this call, you will think about something and you will receive new question. You always can contact to manager, and manager will send question to me, and I will answer. So here, no problem. We are always in touch, and we always try to support you as much as we can. So I think we can finish. Thank you so much for your time. You were with us. And